Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Introducing from Atlantic City, New Jersey, weighing in at 210 pounds, your Italian hero, Joey Image!
1640 PWPR, Joey Image here with That Image Guy. This is episode 14. I want to thank you all for joining me. How are you doing? How has your week been? How's your week going? What do you got planned for the weekend? What's going on? Everyone let me know what's up. Hit me up on Twitter at Joey Image. You can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on iTunes, on Spreaker. Just look for 1640 PWPR. That's 1640 PWPR. That is Pro Wrestling Podcast Radio on all those formats, and you can find us. I mean, we've got an entire network of shows ready for your enjoyment, and the best part about it, they're all free. Check it out. We got the Ken Reedy Show. We got Bladed for Truth. We got Cooling Down with AC. We've got myself, That Image Guy. We've got the King Firehawk Show. Something new every single day. And again, it's free, and that's the best price you can get. So how you folks doing? It's I don't know what day it is, but it's the weekend. It's almost the weekend. It is New York Comic Con weekend. I will be at New York Comic Con on Friday, which I believe is October 9th, and possibly Saturday the 10th. But Saturday I'm not sure about. I will be hanging out probably at the Headlocked booth for a little while. You guys know I have a very close relationship with Headlocked Comics and Michael Kingston, the owner of that. So I'll probably be there for a little bit, and I'm sure I'm definitely gonna be periscoping throughout the day. You know, I think that's almost a given that I'll be periscoping a little bit of Comic Con. We are live again on Periscope right now. Actually, speaking of Periscope, I've got 9 people in the chat. I'm hoping to double or triple that number. The more listeners, the better, of course. But anyway, how y'all doing? Those of you that are not attending New York Comic Con this weekend, what are you doing? Hit me up on Twitter. Let me know what's up. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know what's going on. Let me know how much fun you're having doing whatever you're doing. Maybe I'll come join you and I'll do it too. So a couple of people asked me to discuss the Jake the Snake Roberts movie. I went to see it the other day, Tuesday, in the city, in Times Square at the AMC Empire 25 Theater, which is just such a cool building. I mean, you on the outside it looks like a regular movie theater. Like you walk in and it's not all that gigantic. Then you realize that there's like 3 or 4 floors. It's awesome. And 25 theaters, and there's a bar in there. There's like a bar, dude. I don't know if there's one on each floor. I just went to obviously the floor that my theater was on, but I did pass one of the bars. There's a whole bunch of like food. I haven't been to a standard movie theater in a while, so I don't know what they do for like the concession stands nowadays, if it's still just like boxed candy and popcorn and soda. But like this place had like pizza and chicken fingers and hot dogs, and the hot dogs were enormous. And they had like full dinners. It was so cool. So I went there. It was Tuesday night, and unfortunately I actually found out that the big nights were Saturday and Sunday, because DDP and Jake the Snake were there doing Q&As, which there may have been one Friday. It may have been either Friday or Saturday and Sunday that those were happening, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I know that the film was only being shown there for 5 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I managed to get there on the last day, and I spent the I don't know what it was, 3 or 4 hours. It was awesome. Me and my girl walked around the city for a while beforehand and afterwards. The movie itself I'll get to in a second, but like I said, we got like a gigantic thing of popcorn. We got hot dogs and soda, and of course it was like $28 because, you know, inflation. You get a pack of 8 hot dogs at the dollar store and they're $1, and then you get one single hot dog at the movie theater and it's $4.50. Which is, you know, still complete bullshit, but, you know, you're definitely not getting, what's the word? You're not getting your money's worth for your entertainment dollar, food-wise, at any movie theater. It's ridiculous bullshit. But anyway, so we did that, went there. It was really cool. Pain in the ass getting to the city, man. First of all, the George Washington Bridge to cross the bridge is $14. What? Whose idea was this? $14 to go into a city that smells perpetually like dog shit anyway? Are you people kidding me? I'm not going to Beverly Hills here. I'm going to New York City, a place I love. But I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's no, it's no Beverly Hills, like I said. It's no Orlando, or it's no Hollywood, Florida, or Hollywood, California, for that matter. It's not even a Clifton Hill in Ontario, Canada. But it's $14 to get over the George Washington Bridge. That's insane, man. That's like the tolls on the Garden State Parkway, where there's normally two. There used to be two tolls. There would be a toll, and each one was 35 cents. So what they did was they removed one toll in certain spots. So it would give you the illusion that, like, hey, I'm they're taking away one toll. Cool. That's less money than I'm paying. But then the next toll that remains there is now 70 cents. So you're still paying for two tolls. You're still paying 35 cents times two. It's just you're paying it in one shot now instead of two separate tolls. It's ridiculous. Both of those traffic structures, the Garden State Parkway and the George Washington Bridge, they were bought and paid for years ago. There's no reason why there should still be tolls at all. Never mind tolls that high. I mean, Jesus Christmas. There's people that don't make $14 in an hour at their jobs. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's a whole nother story for another day. But we finally got there. I mean, after about an hour and a half in traffic. It was a 7:10 airtime, which is weird to me. Like, why are movies not just like 7 or 7:30? They're like at 7:10. I mean, I guess it depends on the length of the film, but so it was 7:30. 7:10 film, started right on time, and one of my favorite parts about it was in the previews. There was like a 10-minute segment or clip or whatever of a company who I don't remember the name now, but doing a review of Super Mario Maker for Wii U, which is like, I don't have Wii U, but I want to get that. So that was really cool. But as far as the movie itself, I talked a little bit about it on a Periscope that night. I Periscoped after it was over, and I had my second biggest crowd yet, which was 72 people watching. And it was just me and my girlfriend walking around New York City, basically. Just talking to people, showing them the sights and stuff. But actually, I'm sorry, that was my third biggest. My first biggest was last night. I streamed, I don't even know what time, maybe 11 p.m. I just randomly turned on Periscope and said, hey, let's hang out. And I had like 322 people, I think. And then last week, it might have been not last week, I'm sorry. Might have been a couple of weeks ago when I did just another live podcast, and I had 98 people. And then in the city the other night when I was walking around, I had 72. So as far as the film itself, let me just get to the point here. If you are a wrestling fan, actually, I should say this, because if you're a wrestling fan, I don't need to sell it to you. If you're not a wrestling fan, go see this movie. If you're not a wrestling fan, but you dig drama, or you have a heart, or you just like people, or you just don't want people to die, or you like the feel-good feeling of someone who's down in the dumps, kind of, I don't want to say being saved, because that kind of sounds odd, but being given a second chance, I guess, is a really good way to put it, by someone that loves them, then go see this movie. I've been, obviously, everyone knows I've been a wrestling fan since I was 3 years old. I've wanted to be a wrestler since I was 9 years old. I've been a Jake the Snake fan for, 14,000 years. My cousin Pat is in love with Jake the Snake. That's like his guy, man. Like, everyone's got like a dude. Like, that's my cousin's dude. And I felt bad afterwards. I told my girlfriend, I'm like, I should have called my cousin and like invited him to come with us. I didn't even think about it, because I'm a prick. But yeah, if you're not a wrestling fan, I highly encourage you to go see this movie. I'm not saying it's going to turn you into a wrestling fan, but it'll show you that, those of you that talk down on wrestling and wrestlers, it'll show you that we're people too, and we have problems, and we have, difficulties in our lives. It's not all what you see on TV. It's not everyone making millions of dollars and having like, fancy hotel rooms or fancy cars or giant houses or, giant big TVs or, or whatever, big cars or whatever. There's a lot more heart and there's a lot more realism to it. Again, more than people realize. But I would, like I said, definitely recommend it, especially if you're not a wrestling fan. If you are a wrestling fan, you don't need me to tell you to go see it. You're going to go see it anyway. Especially if you've ever heard of any of the guys that are in it, which if you haven't, I don't know where the hell you live. But again, you don't need me to sell it to you if you're already a wrestling fan. But if you're not, it's about a guy who was quite literally on top of the world in his industry. Jake the Snake was one of the biggest names in the WWE back in the day, and one of the best minds. There's a little clip in the movie where he says, if you have enough power, you don't need to yell and scream. People will just listen to you anyway, even if you talk low like this, and low and slow and calmly. People will still listen to you. And that's one of the most important things that I have ever learned in wrestling. And nobody really even did it besides him. And something that simple and that I don't want to say unnecessary. I don't even know what the word is, but something that that small, that little, the term, it's the little things. So people, something that simple. That's the word. And just so many people never really thought to do that except for him. So it's I don't know. It's crazy that. And he's said it before. It's not like he's never said that. So it's crazy that something that small, a lot of people just didn't pick up on it and go ahead with it. There's certain guys that do that, but there's more guys that don't. But so that's kind of just a background of him and how big he was and how important he was to the business and to the company itself and to the fans. He's a guy that personified a character, I guess, a wrestling character. The way he uses his entire body when he's in there. His promos, again, slow, quiet, and calm. But the way he uses his hair or his hands or his arms or whatever when he's in the ring doing his thing, that's what makes him special. And, a lot of people just go in there, they do a bunch of flashy moves, they jump around a little bit, they think that gets them over. And that's not always the case. But, again, go watch this movie, please. It's called The Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. And I'm not sure where it's playing. Obviously, I think the run that they did in New York ended on Tuesday. I'm not sure if they're doing another run there or what. Or if they're doing it anywhere here in Jersey or what's up. But definitely go see it. It starts out, I think, just showing old school footage of how important Jake was and him at Mania 3 and him with the snake and the Andre thing, and Alice Cooper making his entrance at WrestleMania, and then what else? Him and Earthquake. So they're showing that kind of footage, and then it just goes right into him at his house in I think they said lived in Arlington, Texas, somewhere in Texas, I forget where. But they're sitting in his house and they're just talking to him, and it's very. This reminded me very, very much of Beyond the Mat. If you've seen Beyond the Mat. Reminded me of that, where he was just talking about how he always told himself he would never do drugs, and he got caught up in it, and now it's it's his whole life and it's taking over everything. And as recently as a month before they started filming that, he was high on crack in his house. If you've never seen Beyond the Mat, by the way, please go see that. That's almost a at least the Jake the Snake section of Beyond the Mat is almost a prerequisite for seeing the Resurrection movie. Obviously, it's not required. It's two completely different companies, completely different movies, completely different visions and everything. But the Jake the Snake part of Beyond the Mat is very much as a companion piece as anything can be. And it was just, that whole movie was great too. But it cuts from there to him going to DDP's accountability crib, which is what he calls his house in Atlanta, where he houses the DDP yoga stuff, and his DVDs are filmed there, his classes are done there, his yoga classes, all that stuff, his instruction is all done there. At the time, I should say, because now he's got the DDP Yoga Performance Center, which I've heard is an awesome place. It's not what the words on the outside of the building say, it's what happens on the inside. And I know, not from experience, but I know because I've got personal friends that are there and that have been there. I know that there's a lot of great things going on in that building. I keep in touch with Stevie Richards, at least once or twice a week, and I know there's a lot of good things going on in that building, and I trust Stevie Richards. At least in the business, I trust him more than almost anyone in the business, and so I know that what he tells me ain't bullshit. I know there's a lot of good stuff going on. Then there's a lot of good things happening. I know that Stevie is the only person, at least as of now, the only other person besides Dallas that is certified to teach DDP yoga, which is awesome. But anyway, so back to the movie. It goes on with saying how shitty his life was, and he's hooked on drugs. He's doing coke and crack and heroin, whatever he can get, I guess. Drinking a lot, stuff like that. So it goes on to talk about him moving in with Dallas Page, and how he got started, and how even though things hurt physically, I mean, he still was doing the workouts and everything. And man, I can tell you all about that. My neck injuries and my back injuries have been well documented, as well as my knee. My knee is not great either. My hip is not great. So my injuries are well known, and just like Jake, I hate to say this because I makes myself feel so old, but the way that I feel when I wake up in the morning is the way Jake feels constantly. So I need to actually grab. I don't tell a lot of people about this, but when I roll over when I first wake up, my eyes open, I'm obviously groggy for a little bit. When I turn to get out of bed, I actually have to grab like the box spring mattress part and pull myself up, because with my back, it's very, very hard to sit up on my own, which again is why I can't take bumps anymore in wrestling, because I'm too hurt and I'm too injured to risk basically getting hit. If I get hit in the back wrong, if I get hit with a chair wrong, which that sounds weird, but if I get hit wrong, if I bump wrong, or if I bump at all, the bad discs in my neck and back, they can sever my spinal column, and I'm literally crippled. I can't walk. So if I have to grab the side of the bed to pull myself up, then it's fine. That's what I'm going to do. Same thing with my neck. It's hard to, sometimes when I wake up, I got to lay there for a couple minutes and kind of let my neck know that, hey, I'm awake now and I'm alert. I need some strength, and then I'll do that. I'll wait a couple minutes and lift my head up afterwards, and then I'll grab the side of the bed to pull myself up because of my spine, my lower back. So while they're doing these workouts at DDP's, house, Jake is very much literally screaming and in tears, in pain because of his foot, his ankle, blah, blah, blah. He's got bad ankles, bad legs. He's got 2 bad hips. I know he's either going in for surgery this coming week or next couple weeks, or he just had surgery this past week or within the past couple of weeks. So, so it's I know that he's still beat up. When you see that stuff, it's first of all, it's super inspiring, because here's a dude that's I think almost 60, who is just getting the shit beaten out of him in these workouts, and he doesn't give up. He just keeps going and going, and he's man, it's this, if this dude can do this at 60, then I should do it at 38, man. And and I've done the DDP yoga thing before, and it definitely increased my flexibility. It's been so long since I've done it. I stopped when I had my surgery, and I haven't done it since then. I was told to not do anything for, I don't know. Well, I was on my back, I shouldn't say that. I was in bed for 6 weeks after I had the surgery, and I was told that for at least 8 weeks, don't do anything physical, don't lift anything, blah, blah. And so I kind of got out of the habit of doing DDP yoga and just haven't done it ever since. And I really, really need to, because I'm not getting any younger. So I need to get that, going again. So Dallas, if you're watching this, man, thank you. But yeah, or not watching, just listening to this. I'm sorry, no one's watching this after today because it's live and then it's done. So anyway, it goes through him kind of drinking on days where he shouldn't be. They tell him repeatedly. Steve Yu, the guy, the producer and director, and Dallas tell Jake repeatedly, you can't drink anything. No beer, no booze, or nothing. Not even a beer. Not one drop of alcohol. And Jake's yeah, no problem. And then he goes out and drinks and he gets hammered. And he ends up at the airport and he's hey, I'm at the airport. Blah, 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 whatever he said. And they go to pick him up, and the whole time Dallas is like, "What the fuck? Like, this guy's been here a week and he can't handle it." He's like, "Other people have come through here without a problem." It's just like, I don't want to give away too much. It's just like super, super emotional. And I don't want to make this episode too long either. It's super emotional. It's a super heartfelt, I think. Especially, like I said, if you are a wrestling fan, you're gonna see it anyway, I'm sure. But if you're a wrestling fan who was also a Jake the Snake fan, you're probably gonna be in tears for some of this. As not I was, but I understand people that were. So it's like I don't even know how to describe it, and I'm trying to like kind of wrap it up and like summarize it, but it's like every feel-good movie you've ever seen all rolled into one, but this one is about someone you love, which makes it that much more impactful, that much more emotional, and I think that much more important. I think, and again, like I said before, even people that are not wrestling fans, I think it's important for them to watch this movie. And I think it's important for them to understand that this is real life. This is not, some glamorous pro wrestling movie where there's a guy living in a $20 million mansion who just gets whatever he wants at any time. This is not that at all. This is very, very much a guy at the bottom of the barrel who has shit, like has nothing, and but who at one time had everything. It's almost that's depressing, yeah, but at the same time, it's very materialistic. So, hey, I had 10 pens, now I have 1 pen. Like, well, hey, like that sucks. But it's very much a guy that had everything, blew it all away, threw it all away, blew it up his nose or whatever he was doing with it, and is literally couldn't afford, a few $1,000s to have surgery. And this is a guy who had millions when he was on top of the world, went all the way down to like nothing. In fact, Steve Yu, the director or producer, even says at one point, he goes, when we went to pick up Jake at his house in, again, I think it was Arlington, Texas, or Odessa, Texas, something like that. He goes, when we went to pick up Jake at his house, I expected like a nice house. Like, hey, this is Jake the Snake Roberts, man. This guy's got all the money in the world. He's a big superstar. He's still doing wrestling shows, independent shows, whatever. He's got to have some kind of money. And then they get there, and it's just like broken down, like filthy, like dirty, messy inside where there's just like crap everywhere, like, stuff that, whatever, newspapers laying all over the place and just boxes and stuff like that. It's not what you'd expect from someone that had the kind of money that he had. And the director was like, I was kind of surprised that this is where he lives, and like this is what he lives like. And so they take him to Dallas's house, and then it's uphill and downhill and uphill and downhill and uphill, and it's peaks and valleys from there on. I don't know when this is coming out on DVD or where else they're touring the movie around, if at all. I mean, I don't know. They could not be screening it anywhere else now, and it could be like on DVD next week. I really have no idea. It would be awesome, but I really don't know. I think if you go to JakeTheSnakeMovie.com, that's got all the info. If there's a screening somewhere near you, wherever you are listening to this, please go see it. Please support this film. It really deserves it. It deserves your money, and it deserves your time. Jake the Snake Roberts deserves your money and your time, as does Diamond Dallas Page. It's not some just silly wrestling movie that like deserves to be taken lightly. This is real life here. This is not sports entertainment, quote unquote. This is real life. This is a real guy who millions upon millions of people loved and still love. This movie is just as much about Dallas as it is about Jake. It's about Dallas giving a shit in a business where you don't have friends. That's a huge... I've been in wrestling for 15 years, over 15 years now. December 19th will be the start of my 16th year. So there's a lot of people in this business that don't like you. There's a lot of people in this business that you're not going to like. It just happens. If you can count the amount of actual true friends you've made on one hand, then you're lucky. And that's what this movie's about. This is about a guy who is, Jesus Christ, saying down on his luck is like an understatement. But just to make it simple, it's about a guy who's down on his luck and the angel, the Diamond Dallas Angel that comes to save him. essentially is what it's all about. It's a guy who is, very much going down a terrible, terrible road and needs help and gets it. This movie could not have been any better if it was scripted. You just can't script this. It's real life. It's heartbreaking, and it really does deserve your attention. I'm going to wrap it up with that. We're at about 30 minutes here. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope anyone that was watching this on Periscope, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. And I hope to see all you at New York Comic Con this weekend. Again, JakeTheSnakeMovie.com, I believe, is the website. The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. Check it out. Absolutely do not miss this movie. Thanks a lot. Catch y'all later.